All right, so we are back from our second little break there, and we are here for the final segment of the show where we talk about our highs and lows of the week. But before we even get to that, we are going to talk BYU rape cases, rape allegations, and unfortunately, the attempted cover-ups by not only the church but by the school, and everybody else within that area is going like, no, that's a nice boy, he wouldn't do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Well, no, but nice girl. It doesn't matter how nice she is.
Well, and as Grant put it on the Godless Revolution this week when you guys talked about it, this is one of those things where immediately when someone comes out and said, I've been abused, they're automatically wrong.
Yeah.
They're not given the benefit of the doubt. They're not taken seriously.
Right. No, it has to be her fault somehow.
Yeah, because she wore something revealing.
Let's just talk about male rape. Like, male rape of a guy.
Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't happen at all. That never happens.
It's just a joke.
Oh, yeah, and when it does happen, it's like, lucky you. Ugh, it's gross. It's fucking gross. So anyway, for those that are not in the know,
who teacher was?
I think most of the people here in Utah have already heard the case and have heard what's going on. But there is a student at BYU who came forward about an assault that happened against her, a sexual assault, by a gentleman who has gone on from doing whatever he was doing at the college to being like this fine, upstanding young man. He's probably a bishop raping children somewhere in the LDS church. He's probably too young for that, but. Well, I mean, not the raping kids, but, to be a bishop. But
priesthood.
Yeah, definitely a priesthood holder, member in good standing. He's got his way, working his way up to the top. But as Mark Lawrence said when he was on here, it's like women are just made to be the victims.
Yeah.
In the LDS church.
That's exactly how the church was built.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Mormon church, although they've certainly streamlined it to a certain extent. But most of the Christian churches have built women into be objects. Literal. I mean, like, they are possessions to be owned by whomever possesses them.
That's just absolutely terrible.
I call it training.
You do not.
Ugh. So, this person that the cop that was the one that took the report that he had, and he turned it over to the honor code. The honor code group at BYU.
Specifically, so here's what happened. She reported her sexual assault. He was arrested.
Yeah.
And got out on bail. So arrested does not mean convicted, as we know.
No, it just means you have charges facing you.
He took his file to his friend's father, this Officer Johnson.
Johnson,
God. Because he's a dick. And this Officer Johnson works for BYU, so he took this file illegally.
Yeah.
Illegally took this file.
Took a private police file.
Yes. That should not be viewed publicly because it's still an ongoing investigation. He took it to the BYU honor code because his specific reasoning was, when he was asked about it, was, I don't believe the rape happened, and she's at fault.
And unfortunately,
so he specifically took this private file to the BYU honor code.
I've been unfortunately listening to a lot of people out there that are anti-feminist, and these people are the ones where when we talk about when people come up with rape allegations, and there's a lot of people that give a lot of blowback on this kind of thing, where it's like, believe the person. Believe that they really feel like they were, even if they weren't. I'm not saying they weren't, because in most cases they were. 99% of the cases, yes, they were attacked. The cases where these people bring it up where they're like, oh, well, sometimes they get dismissed because it didn't happen. Not usually the fucking case. Not usually the case.
Okay, let's do this. You are innocent until proven guilty. You are a victim until proven otherwise. And let's say there's not enough evidence to convict the offender. That's fine. If there's not enough evidence to convict them, then we shouldn't convict anyone, and no one's calling for that.
No.
What we're saying is,
believe the person.
Believe them. Okay, let's say that we can't convict them. For whatever reason, she felt assaulted, okay?
Right.
And maybe, and largely no. Largely, they are guilty. Largely, they are.
Yeah.
But let's say he wasn't actually guilty and she just felt assaulted. So fucking what? We don't need to demonize anyone for that feeling.
No.
And she can still be treated with respect as a human being for feeling assaulted.
So when the report got sent to the honor code office, they were honestly trying to get this girl kicked out of school, to have her lose her credit hours.
She's still not allowed to attend school.
No, and of course the Mormon Church, who owns BYU, let's not forget that, people. That is a church-run school. It is Bob Jones University, but with Mormons.
Yeah.
That they are attempting to kick a victim of sexual assault out of school because it's all her fault because she had a boy in her room. Which is victim blaming to the fucking max, you know?
Yeah.
You know how many times I got invited to girls' rooms and I didn't see nothing? I didn't get no boobies. I didn't get nothing. That doesn't mean I'm going to take it. I'm not that fucking dumb, but just...
No, and you're not entitled to it.
No, because it's not mine to take. It has to be given freely, you know, boobies.
Enthusiastically. So
yes.
Hopefully.
Instead of fine, here, have them.
You brought up a devil's advocate position. Obviously not actually condoning it, but if you don't want to live up to the honor code, don't go to that school. Well, here's the reality. That it is an expensive school to go to.
It is a prestige school for a lot of people.
Right. So let's say you get halfway through your degree. Most of these credits are not transferable. She can't take this anywhere else and complete the degree.
Right.
With the credits she has.
The guys that did the...
Let's say she no longer believes in it and wants to have a fulfilling and complete sex life as an individual would. But she also wants to finish her degree, and she has no option to take it anywhere else.
Yep, you're not allowed to be an adult at BYU.
Right. So what if she changes her fucking mind? The BYU Honor Code basically says that she deserves any abuse that she gets if she changes her mind and chooses to treat herself as not an object, but as an individual. Because the LDS Church, and I don't care what anyone says, treats women as objects, as possessions to be owned.
If they are not willing to give them equal footing within their own religious organization, you know that is a subservient position. I don't give a shit the second and third line of bullshit that they try to feed you where women have a more important role. They bring the souls from the pre-birth into this world.
Bullshit.
And
that's The place that people on a pedestal is still relegating them to a specific role and therefore dehumanizing.
And it's objectifying them too. It's making them an object instead of a real fucking human being. So
exactly.
Right. And it shouldn't go without saying that this one case that's coming out publicly is not an isolated case. There are a lot of victims that are now coming forward.
In Utah County alone, there are thousands of unprocessed rape kits, unprocessed from years and years ago, because they don't have the funding for it, they don't have the time for it, and I bet you anything, a lot of the ones that were taken have been taken improperly.
Yeah.
And so
I would argue that on the side of men, in many cases, within the LDS culture, within the LDS supermajority, first of all, if they're not LDS, they are instantly considered a target, legally speaking.
They're an outgroup, Yeah,
they will push the blame off onto non-LDS men.
Right.
Second, certain LDS men who don't have the blood lineage,
to pioneers,
are converts, or are just particularly submissive men who don't have the connections.
Or didn't go on their missions.
Or
didn't go on their mission.
Right. Those men are particularly targeted as not being good enough. And those men will be treated like shit within the religion.
Yep.
They will. Like, those men are treated as lesser men.
I've got a friend who Kyle knows now, and I've tried to get him on the show a couple times. We're going to work on it some more, but he decided to join the military instead of going on a mission. And he gets shit about it because he didn't do his time for Christ. He did time for, serving the country because he felt like that was the right thing to do. But no, that's not good enough for the Mormons.
The Mormons,
goddamn Mormons.
They will target the men who and even if a man has been a lifelong Mormon, if he doesn't have, say, the lineage, because they are huge on lineage there. Like, if you don't have your lineage, lesser.
It is ancestor worship of the fucking highest degree.
It is very much so. So they take these men and they abuse them into hardcore true believers.
Yeah.
Who are just trying to dig their way out of their lack of lineage. And they abuse these men too. So the LDS Church favors certain men. Women are across the board, no matter the woman.
They're chattel. They're always going to be,
Yep.
So anyway, they handed the report over to the Honor Code office, and they are planning on, and like you said, she's not able to currently attend, but this is also causing a lot of fucking problems with the prosecutors right now, because they're saying that the school refuses to delay its Honor Code case against the alleged victim. So the deputy Utah County attorney Craig Johnson brought charges against the woman's alleged attacker, and said that he implored school officials to consider that their Honor Code investigation of her conduct would further victimize her.
Yeah.
He asked them to postpone their investigation until the conclusion of the trial planned for next month. He said that they declined. They said, this has nothing to do with the rape. This has everything to do with her Honor Code.
Mm-hmm.
They're not willing to look at everything at face value. They're not going to go, okay, well, she kind of did something here, but it led to this something really fucking bad that happened to her. We're not going to take that into consideration at all. We're just going to look at the initial infraction. We're going to look at this, she let a guy into her room kind of thing.
Right. So the Honor Code basically is just like, no. This woman not being virtuous enough is enough to deserve punishment, despite the fact that she was abused. And you know what? Fine, I guess. The BYU has its Honor Code, and it has its standards. But the reality is that if somebody has been harmed, you can delay this so that she has a chance to deal with her abuse.
Deal with the abuse and the crime first before you come in and say, okay, yeah, you're not going to be allowed to come back to school here. It's terrible.
No,
and then the amazing double standards that they have when it comes to being a guy other than a girl is just fucking shocking. The guy that got his the football player that got his girlfriend pregnant at the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, nothing,
small smack on the wrist, you know.
Yep, nope, nothing against him.
Guy doesn't, and maybe I'm wrong, but the guy who is the charges pressed against him does not have any Honor Code.
I think he's graduated, if I remember.
No, yeah, he's not currently a student.
Okay, so BYU has rescinded degrees, though. They have done that.
Yeah, they're not going to do that though, because I'm sure
to investigate him for violating the Honor Code whilst he was a student.
It's not really worth all that time, especially since his dad is probably someone connected well within the church, and you know he's a fine, upstanding young man, and he's brought so many people into the fold. And I fucking hate. I hate religion. I am so fucking tired with religion because they let shit like this happen. And I've been listening to a lot of Seth Andrews, the Thinking Atheist, and he's been talking about homeschools and Bob Jones University, and he's been bringing up like actual curriculum from these schools of like the religious schools where it's like, look at this honeybee. Isn't this honeybee amazing? God created it exactly the way it needs to be. It's a happy honeybee because it does what God tells it to. And it's just like, oh, really? Oh, man, this is fucking gross, guys.
Yeah. The reality is that, so, maybe, sorry.
Okay.
Microphone, everybody.
Yeah.
Perhaps call me a cynic, but I don't think...
Cynic.
I don't think that the people at the top of the church actually believe this shit. I don't.
I would be surprised if they really did.
Yeah, because they can see the power that they have, and they understand that the power. And here's the deal: when you control women, not only do you control half the population, but you subvert extra ideas. And I'm not saying that women are extra special at ideas. What I'm saying is you are controlling half the creative ideas that could come forward. And the reality that women's monogamy has a higher price on it than men's, because it does, because if a woman carries a baby, it's hers, but a man cannot know, like, they can trust that it's their kid, but they can't 100% know it's theirs with a woman. And so controlling women comes with such a higher price that they have to know that. They have to know that controlling women's sexuality and their bodies comes at such a higher cost because they so desperately need the children that women birth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way they can really continue their religion. Without indoctrination,
Yeah,
without
getting that next generation sucked in, it's going to just not work.
So by controlling women's bodies and demonizing their sexuality and ostracizing any woman who challenges this concept, they are controlling the women of their religious institution.
Yeah.
And therefore controlling the children.
So I'm thankful guys like...
This is why I'm such a cynic. I don't think... Yep. I can't imagine they actually believe this. I don't think the prophet actually thinks he speaks to God. I'm sorry, but it's too big. It's too big. He was elected in for fuck's sake. He knows that he just has the power to control. And to go full Godwin here, I don't think Hitler actually believed a lot of the Catholic shit. I don't think Stalin believed a lot of the religious shit. It's just... Right. They did this stuff because it's power and how to hold on to it is what it was.
Oh yeah, they understood what they were doing. They understood all that.
Yeah, and so the Mormons, when they're doing shit like this, they're going, man, we can't let these women start getting uppity on us. They did the same shit when you had the ordained women people finally starting to stand up, and they struck them down, excommunicating bitches. I'm sorry, not bitches, people left and right. Sorry. You can refer to it is not women bitches, but people left and right, I should say, because they even struck down John DeLynn. I never thought they'd do that, but
consider that when women start uprising, you get full uprisings.
Yeah.
You get.
Let me ask Beefcake over there. You get a full uprising when she starts rebelling?
Until I pull out the rope, yes.
Hey, I own my sexuality. I know what I am.
So it's really fucked up that them putting out this whole honor code thing is starting to fuck up the prosecution because it's not allowing the victim to face her attacker without being victimized further. And it's just terrible.
Right. She has to be entirely silent, which means that she can't.
I love silence. Silence is so nice.
And so what's really been great is that, and we said earlier, this hasn't been the first case where this has happened. This is finally the straw that broke the camel's back. The last grain of sand that caused the whole thing to topple over finally. And so, not only are we seeing this with the sexual assault and everything, but we're also seeing the bar association coming in and going, "Oh, hey, BYU, you can't tell people that they can't come to your school over religious matters and stuff like this, like especially honor code and stuff, because that's against the American Bar Association. You can't discriminate against people on religious grounds from going to law school here because that's against the Constitution, and with us being the law organization of the United States, you can't actually do that. You know that, right?" And they're like, "Oh God, fuck, we'll do whatever we need to do. Oh, we'll bend over backwards because that's one of the only things that makes us accredited and people care to come here." Because I mean, honestly, it is a good law school. I mean, BYU does have very good professors in a lot of the stuff they do. I'm not saying all of the stuff they do, but a lot of the stuff that they have.
Your boss will tell you that Utah is inundated with lawyers. Like,
yeah, they are.
And
there's not enough good-paying jobs for lawyers. There are plenty of lawyers.
I'm honestly surprised we don't see more ambulance chasing going on around here.
Well, they try, but it's hard.
Give me Nelson and Murdoch any day.
It's.
I could pay him in pies.
This place is lousy with lawyers.
It really is. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up about this, or?
Because we're lousy with lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to bring up anything else about this, or should we move on to our highs and lows for the week?
There's also the student petition.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Students are getting pissed off about this.
Yep.
Because
How
because
dare
that
they?
has come out. Yeah, so there's a petition. They're petitioning the school to change the way they're doing these investigations, and to basically just stop investigating victims of sexual assault for honor code violations. Their petition has
What? Even though it's all their fault? Come on.
30,000 signatures.
Wow, of the popular. Wow, that's pretty good actually, considering
Oh,
Utah
sorry.
County.
You know, Sam brought this up. He goes, well, there were some people who could say they were at a party and then they get caught, and so now they can't be investigated for honor code. I said, fuck it. You know what my attitude was? You know what? They don't even have, they can be like, I don't know who my assailant was. I don't know what they looked like. I don't know if they were male or female, but you can't investigate me for it because I was at a party. I'd be like, fine. Let them get their fucking degree, all right?
Yeah,
Speaking of,
and it's the case of, I mean, it's the argument of it's better to let someone guilty go free than convict someone who's innocent.
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe there might be a few who try to do that, but there are just as many people who manage to get away with it anyway.
Now let me fill some listeners in on BYU culture, because a lot of people probably from Utah maybe have traveled down to that area. I have a friend that dated a girl that was going there one time, and
Yeah.
she wasn't the party girl kind of type, but I knew the other party girls at BYU. This is long before I was a married man, so this was like, oh god, early 2000s. Like Spawn was the hit movie of times, and I'm kidding. So at the BYU campus, like I had no place being there, and me and my friend would go down there to visit. He would go down there to visit his girlfriend, and I would be just road tripping with him down there, and we stopped at the Taco Time nearby the campus there, and we were just acting like we were a couple the whole time we were there. Like, honey, do you want a bean burrito? Oh, I'd love a bean burrito. Give me a bean burrito. That'd be great. And so, once we started noticing people were looking at us kind of funny, because let me paint a beautiful picture for you guys. Picture a guy about 17 or 18 with a head shaved everywhere except for the top, where it was braided up into the spider legs, like a true juggalo. Wearing a green flannel shirt all the way down to his full sleeve, and he was wearing blue corduroy Jinko size pants, like the giant 40-inch legs, like light blue corduroy pants. Sitting in the middle of fucking Utah County, eating a bean burrito at Taco Time. The Taco Time's a local branch here. It's really good. And, when the family started looking over at me, like, oh my God, what is this guy? I'd pretend to deep throat the burrito. That'd be funny. So, anyway, the party girls at BYU, they go through the poop hole loophole quite often. It is a commonplace joke around there. And not only that instead of abusing drugs and alcohol and stuff, they abused legal drugs. So, we're talking NyQuil or other kinds of cough syrups and stuff like that.
Seriously?
And so,
that sounds awful.
it is fucking horrible.
It is. It's oh.
That sounds just terrible.
Have you ever overdosed on NyQuil or something like that?
No, I actually avoid taking it. I don't like it.
I do too, because it makes you feel super fucking logy. It's super druggy.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
It's like it is prime rape time, because it just makes you feel out of your own body. It's weird.
Bras, holy shit, they're so
uncomfortable. Yeah. God damn it. So the girls that would be down at BYU, they wouldn't have people. You weren't able to go to their place, but you could go to a common place, and so yeah. There's all sorts of crazy shit that happens at BYU campus that skirts this honor code law. So don't get it in your head that everybody down there is following the fucking rules. Everybody is lockstepping with the Mormon Church.
They're human beings.
Because they are 18 to 24-year-old super hormonal human beings.
Oh yeah.
Who are noticing boobs and look at that dick print over there. I'm gonna totally get all over the. It's just something that you can't stop.
And you know what? Come on, just let them have sex.
Come on, Mormon Church, let them fuck. Come on. Don't make people get married to have sex. That's the worst shit that you can do. Then you end up with fucking dead marriages like most people I know. Ugh, it's gross. That's all I got for this one. You guys want to move on?
Yeah.